here we go. Step 29. We're back on the bow. And that's good timing because we got the anchor chain that we have to put on. If you remember, we blackened it with the brass black or black brass, one of the two. Anyway, the anchor chain turned out, you might say, beautifully. It actually, I don't think it could be better. I don't think it would be near this good if I was to have painted it, because the paint would have sort of filled in all the little links. Well, not completely, but it wouldn't be as distinct and definitive as it is right now. At least that's my uneducated guess. Okay, so for 29, do you remember way back about 2-3 months ago, maybe it was longer, I forget how I did it, but I broke the jack stand, A15. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And I got it in a test tube. So we gotta make something up here. And then it looks like there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 20 parts or so. And these things that I so meticulously painted yesterday, turns out we're just going to put a capstan over top of it. So, need about 10 or 12 of those. But we got some really fragile little pieces, some little hoists, I guess, that have to be stuck in different places on the deck that I'm going to have to be very careful not to break off. After I put the ship back in its dry dock, it's still sitting on the table here from yesterday when I was painting the stern section, all the little areas on the stern. But we'll put it back in its dry dock, and I think maybe I should take out a little bit of time and put something to protect, have hoops go over top, if you know what I mean. I think that might be a real good idea. Otherwise, I'm going to start accidentally breaking stuff off, as well as the jack stand. Anyway, let's get what do we need? We need the A sprue, the E sprue, the G sprue, the F sprue. Okay. Yeah. Now I just want to make a correction here. I was calling these G11s. I was calling them capstans, but they're not. They're part of the bollard. It would be the part that the rope would wrap around or slide through, whatever the case would be. Yeah. Now these ones here, A28 and A29, one goes on the port side and one goes on the starboard side. And I thought, well, they're probably made a little bit differently, but I can't see any difference. I thought maybe the way the rope would go through the, through and around and out, it would be, they'd be kind of like mirror image to each other. But looking closely, they're pretty much identical. Oh no, I can see now there is a slight difference. Okay, so we won't get them mixed up. I'm going to leave them attached to the sprue. Not only will I be able to see what number it is, but it'll also give me something to hang on to when I'm spraying them. Now the E15s, one goes on the port side and one goes on the starboard side. And they're identical, so it doesn't matter if I get them mixed up. But then again, I think I'm going to leave them attached to the sprue to make them a little easier to paint. The problem is, how do I clean off the flashing on the bottom so that they will sit flat on the gunnel, because that's where they go. Well, maybe I will have to remove these. Well, what's going to happen here with these ones? Well, these ones got flashing in the same way. They got to be sanded down so that they fit flat. If you can see how it goes there. Okay, I'll worry about it when the time comes. We need 2 F27s and 2 F28s. F1, we need 3 of them. A56, we just need 1. And interesting to me, this is nearly the last piece off of the A sprue. Now, I was just checking the manual here. It turns out we need 14 of these G11s. Okay, something I'm noticing that's really interesting about the G sprue, it's almost like it was done by two different people or something. Okay, you'll notice that we've got our row of G11s. That's the rollers for the bollard. Okay, so we're obviously going to be needing some maybe for the stern, I don't know, because there's quite a few of them. Anyway, there's a row of G11s here, but I was just noticing that over here there's a separate one. Now, why couldn't they have just had another one right here? That makes more sense to me. But I noticed that when I was looking for something else. I'll show it to you. Now, this is the first time that I've come to this. In all the sprues we've been looking at, the Bismarck and then the Hood, okay, we need 2 G1s and 2 G2s. Well, here's 3, here's 2. This is obviously one. It even looks a little bit like the picture in the manual. But nowhere is there a tab or a tag that says 1. I've never seen that before. Now it turns out that we actually need 4 of each one of these pieces. And I do believe, I'm going to have to check the manual to make sure, but I think we got all the pieces now for this step. Now sometimes when I'm playing around like this, what's happening is I am just avoiding the inevitable, which means I have to clean these up. These ones here, I have to make sure I don't nip in the wrong place. Maybe I'll put the macro lens on later and show you what I'm talking about. Now, as near as I can tell, there are 35 pieces, and that includes the jack stand that we broke a few months ago. I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. I'm thinking maybe I'll find a piece of wire about the right diameter. I know I could go to the hobby store and buy a piece of brass rod about the right diameter, but I'm sure that down in my workshop, I'm going to have something that's going to work. Anyway, you probably couldn't see that. Let me take it out of the test tube. There. Now, excuse me, as best I remember, when I broke that, it was when I was trying to clean the flashing off at the side here, like you could see a little white spot. Well, I think that's what I got a little bit too aggressive and I snapped it off. I think it's supposed to go something like this. I'm not sure anymore. As I mentioned yesterday, I have a delivery coming today. And I'm not exactly sure when it's going to come, but I got to be ready. So, sorry to have to rather abruptly end this episode. I don't want to all of a sudden find myself, with having to do other things, and I haven't uploaded the video to YouTube. Now, speaking of YouTube, apparently it crashed yesterday. Yeah, my daughter phoned me to tell me, but when I checked, it was working, so I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's running now, and that's the main thing. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.